Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is, wait, what? Oh no. Posted to r/relationships July 18th, 2015. Me, 28 female, with my significant other, 28 male. He cheated on me with my stepsister, 27 female, and she's pregnant with his kid. He, Adam, says he was drunk. We've been together for 10 years and finally got engaged and planning on getting married in a year and starting a family in a few years. And she, Betty, took advantage of him. The first time. Adam doesn't have an excuse for the handful of other times they slept together over a 3-month period. I knew she was pregnant. I've already been roped by my mom into co-hosting the baby shower with my other stepsister, Claire, 30. I don't know if it's a shock or what, but I'm so fucking glad I haven't given Claire my share for the expensive jogging stroller we're getting Betty, or my half of the baby shower cost. Betty told me the father is an ex-boyfriend who doesn't want anything to do with her or the kid. She makes a ton of money, she'd be fine as a single mother, and my mom would help a ton since she's retired and bored, and wants a Duggar family's worth of grandchildren. Adam confessed everything because his dad walked out on him and his mom when he was a toddler. So he wants to be a father to his child, but still be with me because he loves me and made a mistake. I told him to get the fuck out of my apartment. Thank fuck we don't live together right now. We've lived together previously, but his mom wasn't doing well, so we moved in with her. His mom is fine now, so apparently he used his newfound free time to fuck my stepsister. Although a bunch of his crap is at my apartment because he was supposed to be moving in like a month ago and was bringing crap over slowly. I called my mom and told her who the real father of Betty's baby is, just because she's my mother and she'll listen to me cry. Well, she fucking knew already, Reddit. Apparently, in a fit of sadness over missing her deceased mother, who died when she was like 2, Betty told my mother. They all, Mom, Claire, and my stepfather, have fucking known for months! Months! Meanwhile, I'm over here killing myself trying to find the perfect floral arrangement for the tables for Betty's baby shower because I'm trying to be all sisterly and shit. And being the bigger person because sure as hell Betty wouldn't put half as much effort into my baby shower if I were having one. And she was hosting or co-hosting it. Or half as much money, even though she makes a shitload more than me. My own mother couldn't fucking tell me that my fucking fiance fathered my fucking stepsister's fucking baby. No! In fact, she fucking guilt-tripped me into being a co-host for the baby shower as soon as she found out Betty was pregnant. I think before she found out Adam was the father. I think. Mom apparently, well, the general gist is, she wants us all to get along and be a family. And it doesn't matter about the past, it just matters about the new life and the family. That she knows I'm upset and hurt. But I need to work on my relationships with Adam since we've been together 10 years and I wouldn't want to throw that away over a mistake. And Betty, since we're sisters and have been since we were kids, and figure out how to be the bigger person and put my feelings aside for the sake of the kid and our family. I've always been the bigger person with Betty from the very moment we were first introduced at the tender ages of 10 and 9, and she refused to give me my favorite stuffed animal back. And even then, Mom felt bad for her and let her get away with being a brat. And she got to take Miss Snuffles home while I had to suck it up and be the bigger person. She probably still has poor Mrs. Snuffles in some box in my mom and stepfather's attic. A trophy for her first of many victories over me. I hung up on my mother, and here I am, posting on Reddit. I don't want to be Betty's kid's stepmother. I don't think I can forgive Adam. He knows what Betty's like and how our relationship is. Hell, I don't even know if I can forgive my mom, and she's like, my mom! She was a great mother, one of my best friends. The only wrong things about her was her nasty habit of pitying Betty and letting her get away with murder and her crappy knitting that she oh my god. Sorry, the straw finally broke with all the emotions I've been having to portray here. The only wrong things about her was her nasty habit of pitying Betty and letting her get away with murder, and her crappy knitting that she always gives as gifts. I don't know how she can justify this betrayal in any way. It wasn't me that screwed up 10 years of a relationship or mine and Betty's supposed sisterly bond. It was them. Maybe I should talk to her and ask if someone slipped crazy pills in her food the last few months, or maybe she's getting early dementia or something. Fuck, I don't know. I keep looking at the text messages from Claire she sent me way too fucking early this morning asking when I was giving her my share of the $800 jogging stroller we're getting Betty and my share of the baby shower costs. That's going to be worth a crappy Craigslist car. Edit. Is it wrong to reply telling her to go fuck herself? Because I did. Oh my god, I can feel the vitriol. You go off. Is it wrong to reply telling her to go fuck herself? Because I did. We put all the crap on her credit cards and she's in school and working a crappy retail job, and I feel bad for leaving her the huge-ass debt over $3,000, but I keep telling myself she can return the stroller, cancel stuff, sell the stuff that can't be returned, and probably my stepdad and mom will help her with the rest. Another edit. I mass texted our friends telling them that Adam was a cheating bastard who was Betty's baby daddy. We've been together so long that all our friends are friends with us both. The only people I'm friends with who aren't friends with him too are basically just acquaintances I don't feel comfortable talking about this with. Then I turned off my phone. I swear to God, if any of them knew or take his side, what if all of them knew? God. Tomorrow my mom's out of the house at her weekly volunteering gig, and I'm going to go over to their house. I have a key, but chances are if my stepdad is home, he'll let me in and go back to watching TV. Great man. My stepsisters got a woman who tried to mother them without replacing their mother and overcompensating like hell. I got a dude that will occasionally nod at me and sometimes give me a deal on rent when the family plays Monopoly. I've got stuff in the attic that I was keeping there until I had a house of my own. Plus, I want to find Miss Snuffles. Oh, and I'm going to raid my mom's jewelry box, which sounds bad, I know, but I'll only take the stuff my grandmother left me, I promise. I was letting my mom borrow it because I felt bad my grandma willed it all to me and skipped her, mom's an only child. And I figured I'd just get it back when my mom died in 40 years. Which I will freely admit is fucking stupid of me because I could just see Betty whining that she didn't have any grandmothers to leave her jewelry and that it isn't fair. And probably my grandmother knew what she was doing leaving it to me instead. I wish she was alive. She'd tear my mom a new one. Hopefully everything will be there and she won't be wearing anything. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I want it just in case. I don't think she'd, give any of it to Betty or Claire or anything, but I also didn't think she'd fucking betray me like this, so it's my jewelry. She's borrowing it indefinitely. I just kind of figured I'd let her keep it until she died because it was her mom's, but it's mine. I can't trust her not to give any of it to Claire or Betty, and I don't want to have to talk to her if I decide to never speak to her again. So I'm getting it tomorrow. We both know it's mine. It's not stealing to decide not to loan it to her anymore. It means a lot to me, so I'm for sure getting it. Thank you for all your comments and advice so far. I'm going to go to bed and see what tomorrow brings me. Hopefully, all my jewelry, Miss Snuffles, and messages from every one of my friends saying they're never speaking to Adam again because he's a bastard. They won't forgive me if I take him back, and none of them had any idea. Edit it again. I'm a really bad person. I texted Betty. Quote, I hope your baby is born with... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Damn, you certainly got tired of being the bigger person. I hope your baby is born with Down syndrome, which will be an interesting combination with the fetal alcohol syndrome it's got a 90% chance of having since you drink more than your mother ever dreamed of drinking. And then I followed that up with a text calling her a cunt. And then another one that just said whore. Her mom died in a car crash she caused by drinking and driving, and Betty is the type of person who has expressed more than once that people with disabilities like Down syndrome should just be killed because they don't have any use and are a drain on society. Holy shit. I feel kinda bad, partly because it's shitty things to say to anyone, and I'm a better person than that, and partially because reading that back, I don't really think that's much of an insult or anything, really, but what do I know? I've never been pregnant. Maybe it'll make her cry. And thanks to her, I'm probably not going to be pregnant anytime soon. I turned my phone off again, and to keep it off, I tossed it on top of the kitchen cupboards that I can't reach without a chair. And I'm, for sure, going to bed now. What the fuck do I do? Too long didn't read, fiance fucked my stepsister, she's pregnant, my mother knew, and wants us all to be a big happy family because she's got a grandbaby fever, and always takes Betty's side. Fucking Betty. Wrecked our shared car as teenagers, and I still had to pay half the replacement cost because it wasn't fair for just Betty to replace it. I'm well on my way to getting drunk enough to rescue Mrs. Snuffles from her attic prison if fucking Betty hasn't thrown her away! Update, August 11th, 2015, 1 month later. Too long didn't read is that my fiance confessed that he was the father of my stepsister's baby. My mom, other stepsister, and stepfather all knew. Mom had guilt-tripped me into co-hosting the baby shower before she found out, and my share for it and the present would have been roughly $1,500. I kept my relationship with Betty cool as soon as I turned 18 and moved out to go to college. We don't really have the sisterly bond, it's more like cousins you see at family reunions bond. We tolerate each other. She knows I think she's a spoiled brat, and I know she thinks I'm a bitch because I won't take shit from anyone and will call her or anyone out on their shit. Mom's the only person I cave to and allow myself to be guilted into crap and walked all over for. I am not a wallflower or welcome mat or anything. So, yeah, a lot of you said to cut them all off, and if I read my post, that'd be my advice too. Like I said, I don't take shit. I completely stopped being friends with my BFF since I was 8, when I was 22, because she was staying with me for a month and kept smoking in my apartment even when I asked her not to, then got bitchy when I bluntly told her she was being a jerk. And in general, I just didn't like the person she was growing into. So first, the day after my post, I went to my mom's house. No one was home. And I used my key. I grabbed my jewelry and the boxes of random crap I had sitting in the attic. I looked for Mrs. Snuffles, but I couldn't find her. I searched all of the Betty boxes and the Claire boxes to just be sure. I'm pretty sure their dog at the time destroyed her. I doubt Betty would have kept her all these years. I may or may not have cut up all of Betty's photos I found. Whoops. Is that a photo of your mom? Well, I'm sure Claire has photos of her, plus you have my mom now, so you'll be fine. No, I'm not proud of that, but, well, they're sitting in the attic anyway, and much like Adam, I had a lapse of judgment. I lapsed so hard, I grabbed the kitchen scissors on my way to the attic. I will admit, a month later, I feel pretty crappy I did that. But the day after, I was still really raw and pissed, and yeah. When I got home, I finally checked my phone. There was a shit ton of messages from Mom, Claire, and Betty that I deleted without really reading. Even an hour afterwards, I couldn't have told you what they said, but I bet in general I could guess. The messages I got from my friends were really disappointing. Like I said, they were all mutual friends that have never known Adam and I separate from a couple, and most of the replies were, "We care about you both." Only a couple said he was a bastard or anything. One person, in fact, knew. Adam had told his BFF like a week before he told me, and his BFF strongly encouraged him to tell me. A lot of you weren't very kind about speaking about my mother, understandably, but she's not a narcissist or a bad person, really. She's too kind, and when she married my stepfather, she felt really bad for my stepsisters and took it to extremes. Like I said, she was my best friend, and I had even been toying with the idea of making her my matron of honor if we decided to have a wedding versus just going to Vegas, which we were seriously considering. I met my mother for lunch at a restaurant. She was upset with me for taking my jewelry without telling her, saying I should have left a note because she just about had a heart attack when she got home and my stuff was gone. I told her she should have told me as soon as Betty left that Adam was the father of her baby. She said she hadn't wanted to get involved or in the middle, and by telling me when either Adam or Betty should have, would have meant she was involved. Plus, she was in shock that Betty had told her that and wasn't really thinking about me. I told her that happened most of the time when Betty was involved, ever since we were first introduced. She tried to convince me to take Adam back, that I shouldn't waste our 10 years together. I told her that Adam was the one who chose to throw away 10 years. She did tell me that she hadn't known when she'd mommed me into co-hosting that Adam was the father, and that she and my stepfather would cover my share of the gift/shower. I told her that I was her daughter. She gave birth to me, and I was not going to ever be able to forgive Betty. So if Mom wanted to keep being my mother, she needed to pick me for once. She said she couldn't do that she had been Betty's only mother figure, and she wholly considered Betty her daughter, and she really didn't want to get involved still, that if she had given birth to all three of us, her decision would still be the same. I told her that I was very sorry to hear that, and I wished her well. I'd call her every now and then, but I was not going to see her much or attend family gatherings, nor would any children of mine know my stepfamily. She said she was sorry to hear I was deciding that, and that she'd hoped I'd forgive and forget eventually and not tear the family apart. I told her I was disappointed in her, but not particularly surprised, and Betty was the one who fucked my fiancé and tore the family apart. Then I said goodbye, popped down my share of the bill, and left. I'll call her in a couple months, but for now, I've got her and my stepfamily on their ringtones, so I know not to answer them. If she insists on talking about Betty, Adam, or their baby on our phone calls, I won't speak to her unless she learns to not do it. Yes, she very kindly admonished me for what I texted Betty, but I shrugged and told her that she's getting involved by telling me I shouldn't have sent that. Yes, I realize I shouldn't have sent Betty what I did, but I was pissed, and I'd finished off a bottle of wine. And frankly, she is a cunt. As for Adam, he showed up about a few days after he told me with pizza, ice cream, and flowers. I had his stuff sitting by the door and was more than willing to have him get it and go, but he convinced me to talk to him. He confessed that while I lost my virginity to him, he had lost his to Betty a few weeks before. It felt like he'd punched me in the face. I told him if I had known that, I would have dumped his ass then and spent the remaining 9.5 years not being held back because he didn't want to leave our city or go on trips out of the country or get a freaking cat. He's super allergic. Or paint my nails. He's weird about nail polish. I haven't painted mine since we started dating seriously. He was apologetic but said he loved me and wanted to work on things. I told him I wasn't going to be Betty's baby stepmother, that I wanted to live a 100% Betty-free life, and that if I were to take him back, he would have no contact with the woman he cheated on me with, which obviously wouldn't be possible if he was the kid's dad. He said that Betty told him there was a chance he wasn't the father after he told me, because like I said, she's a cunt. I told him there was still a chance he was though, and I wasn't going to risk it. Plus, that didn't change the fact that he'd betrayed me when we were first together, and last year, and that was 2 times too many. He asked if we could still be friends, with, I'm 90% sure, the intent to win me back. I told him I'd think about it. No chance in hell of that happening. I talked to my dad. He lives across the country, and we're on great terms even though we only saw each other during the summer when I was growing up. I really like my stepmother, but our relationship had always been a bit shadowed because, well, I was a dick and firmly pushed her away to not hurt my mom's feelings, which I'm pretty sure is some sort of weird irony. Dad offered to pay to get me out of the rest of my lease and let me live in one of his rental houses for free if I wanted to move to his city. I'm gonna do it. I've got a buttload of savings to last me a while until I find a job. I never wanted to stay in our home city forever, and I think being 2,000 miles away from my mom and the rest of them will really help. I'm going to work on my relationship with my stepmother too. First thing I'm going to do when I see her is apologize. I quit my job, and I've spent the last few weeks relaxing, packing, planning, speaking to a therapist, looking at cats for adoption in my dad's city, and reaching out to the handful of friends I have there from when I'd visit Dad in the summer. Hopefully someone will click and I'll have at least one good friend there. I bought myself way too much nail polish, got a manicure, and a lot of money on a pair of boots I've wanted since forever, but held off on getting because, I couldn't splurge like that because I was going to get married. So, everything's going to be okay, I think. Thank you to everyone who commented and PM'd me with helpful advice and sympathy. Too Long Didn't Read took Adam back trying to talk Betty into naming the baby after me. Just kidding. I'm moving 2,000 miles away from them all, and everything's probably going to be okay. Jesus Christ, I am a sweaty mess. I really got, involved in that one there with narrating that. Oh my god, I'm overheating. If this channel takes off enough, I'd really love to get, a full 3D tracking VTuber setup or something like that, or just something that allows me to kind of always be on camera without being on camera, so you guys can see me talking with my hands, because that is something I do. I actively throw my hands around and speak with them, and it gets very, physical very quick, and now I am a drenched mess of sweat and disgustingness. Good God. Well, yeah, I don't know if that concept has a lot of interest to you guys, or how I would even implement that, but I've been recently learning a lot of creative tools and expanding my horizons, and I thought, hey, once I get good enough with 3D design, maybe that could be a fun little thing to implement for the channel. But to the actual tangent, this is a really good example of what being the bigger person for so long can lead to. This is years of resentment that have built up and have just caused an eruption of this scale. I mean, we see things from OP's childhood swinging out with an aluminum bat straight for the shins. Anything from the praise stuffed animal that I kept calling Miss instead of Mrs. for the longest time, or even the fact of just the random insert of the car or the shitty knitting. There's so many little things and injustices that have stacked up over the years that when the dam finally broke and all shit was finally released and finding out that everyone who you thought was close to you knew this dark secret and were fully willing just to let you live in the shadows and deal with it without telling you what was really going on? Yeah, fuck that. The thing is, by not getting involved, quote unquote, you're getting involved. Because by simply allowing your daughter to host the baby shower and do all of these things for literally her boyfriend / potential fiance's affair partner's baby, that's fucked up. That is an insane amount of betrayal to be hit with. I don't blame her for going completely off the goddamn rails. Hopefully, in the past 10 years, she's been able to move, reinvent herself, and definitely get some therapy to deal with this whole fucking mess she had to deal with. Also, side note, the fact that Adam lost his virginity to Betty makes me really think that Adam and Betty had been sleeping with each other for the past 10 years, and Betty was just a consistent side piece for God knows how long. Ugh, god damn. Also, I do just kind of want to draw this line here because I feel this is necessary. When it comes to the comments involving Down syndrome, I do think OP crossed a line, and I do think it's important to talk about that because you are wishing a disability upon an uninvolved third party. However, with the context of Betty's comments, I do understand why the fucked up comment was made. I don't think it was appropriate, but OP was aiming to invert the knees with an aluminum bat of a pro-eugenics monster. Is this a means justify the ends, or is it fucked up to wish a disability upon an infant? Ugh, goddamn. Fucking nuance. Don't forget the Oz Cup is on sale right now, and right now GamerSubs is also doing 20% off, so if you use code Oz at checkout, you get 20% off of the Oz Cup, plus the t-shirts if you want that. This is lasting until the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, link in the description, plus every purchase made using code Oz actually directly supports the channel, so you should do that. It'd be super cool. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." Original OP is Throw RA948474, posted to r/relationship advice, January 14th, 2024. Do I, 50 male, allow family that kicked me out at 18 back into my life? Wife, 48 female, thinks I should. I am realizing I 100% threw my voice out on the previous post. Holy cow, never in my dreams would I have thought that I would be the guy posted on Reddit asking for advice. I normally tend to lurk and offer occasional advice, but this one I might need external opinions from. Sorry if it's a bit long. So, little backstory. I'm a twin, and when I was born, I hadn't developed my lungs fully. So, had to stay in the hospital for quite a while. Due to this, I had a lot of developmental and emotional issues, dyslexia and anger issues. Now, I don't know if this is the reason, but I believe so, that because of these issues, I was treated poorly by my family, like I was somehow a burden on them. Not to say they were abusive, but the neglect I received was a lot. For an example, on our birthdays, I would ask for something and my brother would get it instead. One year, asked for a boombox. Not a big one, but a smaller one. They were all the hit in the 80s. Instead, my brother got it. Christmas came around, asked for a remote-controlled car. Brother got one. I was told due to funds had to wait till after first of the year. Never happened, so basically got nothing but clothes for Christmas while my twin got toys. I tried for years to show I was as good as my brother. He was always good at school while I, of course, struggled. In 6th grade, I worked hard to make sure I got good grades, all B's, which was good for me. And they said, "Oh nice, your brother got all A's." I think it was at this point I realized where I stood. I was just a roommate that they had to take care of, nothing more. So as a kid, I figured that if I can't get attention for positive things, then I'll do whatever. And if I get in trouble, at least they would be forced to pay attention to me. Not the brightest idea, but when you're an 11 to 12-year-old, what do you expect? When I turned 18 shortly after graduating high school, I was met at the door with a bag of clothes. I was told that I had to go, that they did their job and I needed to leave. I asked, what about my brother? They stated he was gonna be somebody, as he was going to college, where I struggled in school, so clearly I was gonna be a bum. To tell you the truth, I was ready to go anyways. I already knew how they felt, so this didn't even bother me. I grabbed my bag, my mom tried to hug me, but I ignored it and walked out the door, never looking back. It took a while for me to get on my feet. Nowhere to go, no place to sleep, not a penny to my name. But I had some friends to rely on, at least temporarily. Fast forward a few years and I met my wife while I was working at a gas station. We just clicked. A few years later, we got married. We built a home together, something I never really had growing up. Back in 2005, we had a baby girl and 2 years later, a boy. From my perspective, my life is perfect. Family, home, a great job in IT. That was until yesterday. I received a phone call from my mom telling me my dad passed away, and that she and the family would hope that I could make it to the funeral. Mind you, I didn't know how she got my number, but probably from my brother, but I was shocked to say the least. I told her I was busy working, which I was, 12-hour shifts are fun, lol, and would let her know later. She started to say something to the effect that they missed me, and would like to be a part of my life or something like that, but I hung up. Kinda rude I know, maybe even asshole-ish, but from my perspective, I haven't heard a word from these people in 32 years, so why would I give them any more of my time? I told my wife, and although she knows about my family, she thought it would be the right thing to do, seeing that my mom reached out to tell me where she could have not told me. That they are family and probably feel bad and want to reconnect. Mind you, my wife has a big family and they've always treated me like family, so her view of family is different than mine. However, as far as I'm concerned, I already have my family. Those other people are former roommates that I have no obligation to anyone but those who I care about and who care about me, my wife and kids. I get it. My wife loves me and is thinking of me and how I might regret not going. Just seems they now know that dad is gone and life is short, so now guilt is creeping in and they don't want to die with that guilt. I mean, do I go at the wife's suggestion and be miserable being around people that I learned to let go of and not care about in order To look like a better person, or do I stay home and continue to live my life, putting my own family first and ignoring those people? Guess asking those that have got no contact with their family if they let them back in. Was it worth it? Or did it backfire in your face and something you wouldn't ever do again or suggest to others? As additional info, mind you, I live in Florida, and they're probably all still in California, so that would be a long trip and not sure worth it. As far as my twin, we don't talk. Not that we hate each other, we just walk different paths in life. I get/send the occasional Christmas card, but that's it. Unless some miracle has happened, my mom is probably still the self-centered person she's always been. She always wanted to be seen as the good person by family and friends. Editor's note, OP made a lot of responses in the original post. I am listing the common questions asked in responses. Some of OP's relevant comments. Commenter 1. Your mom is not reconnecting out of any kind of desire to care about you. She probably has extended family who she's hidden this from, and she doesn't want to deal with questions about why you're not there. And that's probably something your wife doesn't understand about narcissists. It's never about anybody else but themselves. Whatever reason she has for contacting you, it's for her benefit, not yours. OP responds, Damn, feels like you know her, lol. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one thinking this. Thanks for commenting. OP on his mother trying to take credit in doing everything right because of his life. OP responds, Knowing her the way I did back then, you are probably 1000% right. Most people like her don't change their colors. Is it true that because of them, I learned the hard way? Sure is, but it wasn't the caring way. It was a cruel way to teach me. But I'm not a better person because of them. I'm a better person in spite of them. I worked my ass off to create the family I deserved, and I'll never give credit to anyone but myself and the wife, lol. Commenter 2. They neglected and emotionally abused you all your life. Do what is best for you. Your wife can't possibly understand. OP responds, She doesn't, and think it's hard for people who come from loving homes and families to understand bad ones. But she's coming from a place of love, and for that, I'm grateful to have such a caring wife. Commenter 3. Usually when someone who ignored you for 32 years contacts you, they want something. Your mother didn't want you, kicked you out the moment she could, and now comes calling? She probably figured out that you were doing well for yourself and wants you to do something for her, or wants access to your kids. Either way, I would block the number. She's not worth it. OP responds, Not gonna lie, I've had these thoughts too, if nothing more to save face in front of others. As far as my kids, they've gone this long without her, so they aren't missing anything. My wife's parents and family, however, are awesome to them. Spoil them too much, I think, but that could just be the dad in me, lol. Downvoted commenter. I wouldn't go unless there are parts of the story you're leaving out. I'm wondering how your anger issues presented in adolescence and childhood. OP responds, mostly getting into fights with others at school because they would call me names or try to start fights thinking I wouldn't fight back. I by no means was a perfect kid, but in the end, I was a kid. The story was already super long. There are other parts that made my childhood crap, like made me to think I was having a sleepover with my grandma as a surprise, just to find out later from my brother they, as a family, went to SeaWorld or San Diego Wild Animal Park or Disneyland as his reward for doing good in school. Never showed up to my choir concerts, so I ended up giving up on that dream and quit singing. Which, if they had America's Got Talent, I probably would have made it. Not won it, but I was a pretty damn good singer when I was young. Commenter 4. Your father died. Your mother probably thinks you might be good to help her financially. I would send a sympathy card and be wary of why they suddenly want you back in their lives. Commenter 5. This was my first thought. If you have a great life, financially comfortable, she wants in on that. Does your brother know anything about your life now, like what you do for a job, or if you're married with kids? Could he have clued her in on your life? What does your golden brother do now? Is he married or financially stable? Does he speak to your mother? OP responds, To tell you the truth, we don't really speak. We send the occasional Christmas card, maybe a happy birthday message, but nothing more than that. Again, he isn't a bad guy. We just took different paths. The way he was treated versus me, I know he knows wasn't right, but again, as kids, you can't do much about it. I know he has a good job, married with no kids, so that might be why mom wants to fix things. I am gonna have to drink a bottle of honey after this. Commenter 6. You and I are the same age. I know the mindset of the era we grew up in. Lots to unpack. OP, it could very well be your dad was the ringleader in treating you like the family pariah and kicking you out. Your mom may not have agreed but still went along, still guilty. Your mom tried to hug you when you left, which tells me right there that she was not in full agreement of this decision. And she's connecting with you after your dad passed away. That tells me he was the one who didn't want contact, not her. Still guilty! It sounds like your mother wants to reconnect with you. I personally would make the trip, introduce your family to loved ones, aunts, uncles, and other extended family who haven't seen you in years. Also, hear what your mother has to say. No matter what, it still does not absolve her from guilt of the abuse you endured as a child. If you do not get an apology from her, or it seems disingenuous, don't ever talk to her again and disown them all, brother included. It may be one of those trips you have to make to prove to your wife once and for all that your family are truly a bunch of pricks. Opie responds, LOL, oh my god, that last line made me burst out laughing. Actually, their house was more of a matriarchy. Dad was a quiet kind of guy and always allowed my mom to be the boss. I guess people nowadays would call him a beta or a doormat, and he may have been. But he never truly stood up for me. A lot of the neglect came from her, and he just stood by and let it happen. I think her trying to hug me was her way of making it about her. Update, my throat is in oblivion right now and it feels like I'm gargling lava. Now for OP's update. January 15th, 2024. Update. Okay, first, holy crap. I didn't think my post would get so many comments. I tried my best to respond to as many comments as possible as they came in. But after signing out to cook dinner and spend time with the family, when I came back, there were hundreds of comments. So although I didn't respond to each one, I did read them all 750 plus. Even had to read some this morning. Second, thank you to everyone for taking the time to read my post and then take time out of your day to comment, share your story, post some kind words, and even the few that were blunt about what I should do. Third, at the suggestion of many of you, I sat with my wife and we went through the comments together so she could get a better understanding of where I was coming from. Although some were a little brutal, she understood and apologized for overstepping. I reassured her that her heart was in the right place and nothing to be sorry for. Fourth, at the suggestion of someone who posted, sorry, lost your name in the vast comments, that I contact my brother. I did just that. Update time. Okay, folks, I hope you're ready for this shit show of karma that's about to unfold. Strap in and hold on. So I called my brother to talk to him. I asked him if he had time to talk, and he did. I asked him if he gave my number to his mom, and he mentioned he did. He thought it would be better to hear about our dad's death from my mom than from him. I asked him why I would want to hear from someone who kicked me out at 18 and never heard from in 32 years. He was shocked. He told me that Mom said that I could stay, but I had to pay rent. But I told them I would never pay rent and left on my own. As others said in my original post, narcissistic people do and say things to make it about them and make themselves look better. I can't really be surprised at this, but to tell you the truth, this is exactly who she was back then and even now. Make me look like the bad apple and her/them as the ones who never do wrong. We had a good talk. Never getting that sibling/twin bond back, but we did agree to try and at least catch up more instead of Christmas cards and birthday messages. Like I said in my original post, he's not a bad guy, we just walk different paths. So then I asked him why Mom wants to reconnect and why she wants me at the funeral. You guys were right. Turns out they spent everything they had, their entire life savings, trying to live like the Joneses. Now that Dad is gone, she has nothing to her name. No savings, just the small amount of Social Security per month and a small portion of my dad's pension. Living in a small trailer. They heard that I actually became somebody, and she was telling others that she couldn't wait to see me at the funeral. She was hoping I would bring my kids so she could see her grandchildren. She actually told my brother that I would be coming. What the fuck? And she was hoping that we could fix our relationship. I'm guessing so that she could start asking for money. as many of you said she would do, seeing as she's dirt poor now. I informed him, after thinking about it, mostly listening to you guys, that I would not be attending, and at no time did I tell his mom I was coming. I did feel bad Dad is dead, but I already mourned them years ago. I'm at peace with myself, and his/her deaths are, and will be no different than that of a stranger. That I feel it won't be for me if I go, it will be for his mom and making her look good. I'm not interested in doing anything for her. They wrote me off 32 years ago, and I'm in a way better place without her toxicity, narcissism, and lies. I have to give him credit. He wasn't a jerk about it, he understood where I was coming from. Told him, if anyone asks why I'm not there, to tell them the truth or lie. At this point in my life, my immediate family is more important than people who've been absent from my life for 32 years. So don't really care what he tells them. As far as his mom, I'll be staying no contact and blocking the number that she called me from. My wife and I both agree that it's best for me and our family, not only for mental reasons, but for financial reasons. I didn't work as hard as I did to get where I'm at to lose it all to her. As some of you suggested, I'm gonna have a small goodbye from my dad on my own time. Again, thanks internet strangers. I never knew so many people could be so nice and caring. This old guy truly thanks all of you. Unfortunately, with how completely demolished my voice is, I don't really have too much of a tangent to say. Although to answer a few questions as to what's been going on with the outro recently and why Oz is wearing the peeled face of John Arbuckle, that actually comes from an old reference to the r/I'm sorry John videos I used to do on my main channel once upon a time. And I thought it'd be kind of fun just to reuse that sprite because I accidentally grabbed that PNG and thought it'd be funny to go with it. So hopefully that explains what's going on there. As of recording this, we are roughly at 17 to roughly 1,800 cups sold, and my offer in the outro still stands. So take care, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Cue the outro! Oh boy, the outro! So right now, GamerSupps is doing a 20% off for all partner codes, up until the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hey, you know what you could do? You could use code Oz at checkout and get the cup and the shirt for 20% off. Wouldn't that be super cool? Oh, and I was serious, by the way, about if we sold 5,000 cups that I would get my hair styled like the cup. So hey, there's that. Dyed and everything.